Welcome to In the Kitchen with Just Keep Rolling. I'm Ellen.
I'm Keighty.
For this episode, we're going to be making one of the desserts mentioned at the first Hogwarts Feast in Harry Potter and the Philosopher / Sorcerer Stone, Trifle.
Basically dessert lasagna, so that's pretty awesome right there. It's got sponge cake, fruit, pastry cream, and whipped cream.
We're going to be making a Very Berry Trifle with fresh strawberries and a raspberry strawberry sauce. So that's where we're going to start.
So good.
Yep.
So good. We're going to start with our raspberries. It's a 1 cup of frozen raspberries thawed out.
Scrape that out.
Yep. And what you're going to do, you're going to pour them into a fine mesh sieve or strainer. And we're just going to push it through. And this is going to get rid of all the ick.
The seeds.
The seeds, basically. Because there are sometimes seeds just suck. It'll take you a little while, but it'll be worth it because you won't have seeds. Okay, so I added a little bit of sherry to thin out the raspberry.
Aw, that rhymed. How adorable.
I live to be adorable, so there's that. And you'll see we basically kind of have a paste left. It's mainly just
seed paste.
Seeds.
Raspberry seed paste.
Go ahead and scrape it off the bottom there. And this is just delicious, amazing, like concentrated raspberry goodness.
With a teeny bit of sherry. But we're going to add a little bit more sherry because in total there should be 2 tablespoons.
Yes.
We are also going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch to help thicken it up.
Want to take that?
Yep.
Get rid of those seeds. You don't want those. I'll basically just mix it until it's smooth.
And then we'll be taking it over to the stove.
Yeah. So now we blended our raspberries and cornstarch and sherry all together, and we have this over the stove on medium-high heat. And once it becomes translucent and a little bit thicker, then we're going to add our strawberries and our lemon juice to it. And that's just going to make it delicious because that's what strawberries and lemon juice does. It's a skill. Alright. Our raspberry sauce is thickening up very nicely, becoming pretty translucent. So we're going to go ahead and turn down the heat first off. Don't want to burn it. And we're going to add our lemon juice. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, or to taste. If you'd like a little bit more, go for a little bit more. And 1 cup of frozen strawberries. Mix that all together and make it nice and pretty. So, seriously, how good does that look?
Ooh, that looks tasty.
It's beautiful. Thickened up really,
so
really
pretty
nicely.
too.
So we're going to pour that into a heat-proof container. I'm one of those people who needs to get every last drop. So
we don't want to waste it.
Exactly. I get so annoyed at the cooking shows that are like, oh yeah, I'll just dump this in, and then half of it's still in the bowl.
That's what they made spatulas for.
Exactly.
This would make a really good fake blood.
There you go. You can put that in the fridge for an hour and a half to chill, or up to 3 days.
All right, good to know.
There you go. So now we're going to start with our pastry cream, which is so good. Yay. We're going to start with 1 vanilla bean. I love vanilla beans. Ellen says I'm weird about it, but you know what? She's right.
I watched her practice. She's going to tone it down while we record, but it might still leak out.
So you're going to take your vanilla bean. You want like a fresh one. You want one that's bendy. It's not going to snap in half.
Pliable.
Pliable, exactly. I'm just going to take and cut, open it up. You're going to see, look at all those, oh my God. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get weird because I just got weird, but all those seeds in there, I call it dessert caviar. Because it's so good. You can just scrape the seeds right out of the bean. There we go.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Look at all that. That's the good stuff right there.
That's the good stuff.
That's the good stuff.
So while Keighty keeps getting the good stuff out, I'm going to pour a cup of milk and a cup of heavy cream into our pot. And as soon as she's done, she's going to be adding those vanilla beans to this.
Fun thing about milk and cream is whatever you put in it will infuse into the milk. So, you want all that good stuff. All those beautiful seeds. So good. It smells so good. I have an unhealthy obsession about vanilla. Yes, I do.
It smells really good, though. It's amazing.
So we're going to put this on the stove on medium-high heat, and Ellen is going to take the next step.
Yep, so for this pastry cream, we also need 4 egg yolks. We already separated 3 of them, and I'm just going to go ahead and separate out the 4th one so you can see how to do that. I'm going to crack the egg, and I'm just using a separate bowl to let the egg whites drip into, and just teeter it back and forth between the 2 halves of the shell until all of the egg white is gone. There we go. That's pretty good. And I will just add that to the bowl with the other 3.
So as you can see, our milk and cream mixture and vanilla bean is boiling. And it's so lovely. And the thing that I love about vanilla beans, one of the things, I love so many things about them, is when we take this out, you clean it off, you can use it again. And it's just so versatile, and I love it, and it's amazing. Okay, while that milk and cream mixture is boiling up a little bit, we're going to go ahead and we're taking our egg yolks. We're going to add a half cup of sugar. Whisk it in real good. It is going to get a lot thicker. Don't worry, it's supposed to. And then to this, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. And cornstarch will go everywhere, so you know, a little caution goes a long way. Okay, and to this we're going to add a tablespoon of sherry, because
Yum.
why wouldn't you?
All right, while Keighty mixes that together, I'm going to go get the milk and cream vanilla bean mixture.
Yep. You just want to whisk this together till it gets like a paler yellow. And becomes nice and smooth and is fully incorporated. Now for the fun part, Ellen.
The fun part. This is her favorite part. I say that with sarcasm.
Mm-hmm. Well, we get to take
pull
the
the
vanilla
vanilla
bean out, so that's fun. Sure. It's very hot. Whoop. Watch for the hook. Take our vanilla bean out. So, but my real favorite part is the tempering of the eggs, which is kind of scary sometimes, if I'm being completely honest. Here, will you hold the bowl?
Yes, I will.
So you're going to take about a 1/4 cup of your milk and cream mixture, give or take, and you're going to slowly mix it into the eggs, but you want to keep whisking the whole time.
This is going to help bring up the temperature of the eggs without cooking them.
Mm-hmm. You don't want scrambled eggs in your pastry cream, trust me. Okay. We're going to go ahead and you want to take the stir it?
Yep.
While I pour. Just a nice thin ribbon of it. So again, that you're bringing it up to temperature slowly. Tempering eggs can be very scary. Like I said, not a huge fan of it. But you know what? It really is worth doing. Okay.
That looks like it worked together very well.
We're gonna whisk that. This is gonna go back on the stove just until it starts boiling and thickens up. And you wanna keep stirring the entire time. Again, you don't want scrambled eggs. You don't want scrambled pastry cream. Okay, so we're starting to get some thickening here. You might get worried that you got scrambled eggs, but it's just the way the thickener works sometimes, the way the cornstarch works. It's just being uneven, but just keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. Even at a certain point, go ahead and bring your whisk back up. And just keep going with it, and it'll start to thicken up even better. Just make sure you're kind of scraping the bottom of the pan so that you get anything that might be stuck to the bottom so it doesn't turn into scrambled eggs. So now we have our pastry cream and it's beautiful. Look how nice and
Thickened up so nicely.
It really did. And look at all those little vanilla bean speckles in it.
It smells so good.
It really does.
So while Keighty was at the stove constantly stirring the pastry cream to make sure that it didn't turn into scrambled eggs, I made this ice bath, which I just did a tray of ice cubes and filled up the bowl about a quarter of the way.
Now we're going to take this and we're going to pass it through a strainer just to make sure there aren't any lumps. And just to make sure that, you know, if a little bit did curdle, it's not going to stay in there. It'll come right out. There you go. So now we've got all that. We barely needed the strainer, honestly, but it's always good to use it. Plus, there might be little, like I don't know if you guys can see, but there are little bits of the vanilla bean, the actual pod in there. Not gonna hurt you. Probably tastes really good, but it might just have a weird mouthfeel, so.
I'm a texture person, so it would probably bug me.
Same.
Now, if you don't want to be extra like us, this time it is not just me because this is Keighty's show right now. You don't have to make your pastry cream or custard from scratch. You can totally just buy some. However, this process is really fun and it tastes so good and it's really worth it. So we highly recommend trying it.
And it's delicious.
And it's delicious. Tasty and delicious.
Tasty. Department of Redundancy Department, how can I help you? So yeah, and look at that. We've got our lovely, lovely pastry cream. The ice bath is basically just to cool it down faster while you're pouring it into the bowl. You don't have to keep it in the ice bath very long. A few minutes if you want. We're just going to go ahead and take it out actually. Ready? There we go. And then we're going to flatten it out a bit. Like I said, tempering eggs and making custard can be very nerve-wracking, but when it goes right, it goes so right.
All of the right.
So you're going to go ahead and make sure and put the plastic wrap right up on the top of the pastry cream. That way it doesn't get a film. Nobody wants a film.
That also messes with the texture.
Yes. Put it right up there.
Lovely.
Nice and airtight. And we'll put that in the fridge and let it cool until chilled. Take about an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, give or take.
Mm-hmm. So I've cracked 5 eggs into my double boiler. We're gonna add 1 more to it for a total of 6 eggs. And we're gonna whisk those together.
And we're using the double boiler because it allows you to cook something but not have it be directly on the heat, which has a tendency to cause sweet things to crystallize, and you don't want that texture in your food.
You don't want that. So to this we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Thank you. You want to just get it nice and incorporated. And then to that we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. We know I love my vanilla, so.
Mm-hmm.
And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, just plain table salt. Just to cut that sweetness. Okay, so we're just gonna take this over to the stove, and it's just to warm it up. Okay, so we have our 6 eggs, sugar, and vanilla and salt over our double boiler. You see we have not an inch or 2 of water in a rolling boil underneath our bowl. And that's just gonna make it so that it comes up to temperature very slowly. The bowl is not directly on the heat. And it'll help it heat more evenly as well, because the water will come up a little bit on the bowl. So, so now our eggs are just slightly warm. You know, again, we're not cooking them. We're just heating them up a little bit. And we're gonna pour them in our stand mixer. And we're gonna whip these until they triple in volume.
Triple in volume.
Not double, because that's some bull crap. Triple.
3 times the fun.
Yes. So, just gonna mix that. That's gonna be super loud, but about 5 minutes it'll take, somewhere in there. That is
3 times the fun.
3. That's nice and light and airy.
It's amazing that's egg.
Mm-hmm. Right?
You don't need this again, right?
No. So, as you can see, we've got a lovely whipped egg mixture.
Fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Hagrid's dog.
Yes. We're going to sift in 3/4 of a cup of flour. You sift it so you don't get the lumps, because nobody wants the lumps.
It's very noticeable in something this whipped.
Mm-hmm. Smooth. You want to take care when you're mixing this together to not overmix, because it will deflate the mixture. It'll take all the air out, and then you just wasted 5 minutes of mixing.
It will de-spongify your sponge cake.
Yes.
Like eating a slightly sweetened real sponge.
That wouldn't be good. So you're just going to lightly fold.
We've already prepped a jelly roll pan by lining it with parchment paper, and we slit the edges so it actually fits down in there, and then sprayed it with a cooking spray that is made with flour, so it won't stick to it when we pour it in there.
That's lovely. You gotta be careful when you're doing this, because pockets of the flour will kind of hide. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, look, extra flour. That doesn't work. So just make sure it's fully incorporated,
But not overmixed.
but not overmixed. Okay, so I think I've got that just about mixed, folded in. So now we are going
Looking
to
pretty good.
take, yeah, still pretty fluffy. So it looks really good. Now we're going to take 2 tablespoons of melted butter, however you want to melt it, but make sure it comes back down to temperature, because again, you don't want to cook the eggs. So you don't actually want it to be hot. You want it to be about room temperature-ish.
But still liquid.
But still liquid, thank you. And you're going to fold that in as well.
So good.
You can still see how aerated it is. You don't want to lose that.
That is what makes it spongy.
That's the sponge.
In the sponge cake.
Okay. So we've got that. Now we're going to pour it into our jelly roll pan.
We have the oven preheated to 350.
Once again, get all this good stuff from the sides.
And the bottom.
And the bottom, so you don't want to leave anything in there. Our test run that we did yesterday did not come out this fluffy, and I'm loving this. So y'all are getting the good stuff here. You're just going to spread it out evenly.
Corner to corner.
Okay, so now that's all smoothed out, and that's going to go in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, so now our sponge cake is done, and it looks
so
wonderful.
good.
Looks great. You'll just take a clean towel, clean kitchen towel, and just put a little bit of powdered sugar on the towel, and that's just so it doesn't stick.
You don't want a towel cake.
Yes. So we're going to take it and flip it right over. Get the sides. Beautiful.
Lovely.
That came out wonderful. Alright, so then you're just going to take your serrated knife and just give it a nice cut. Okay, so we have our sponge cake, and we're just going to take it and cut it into squares. Use a serrated knife, it helps you cut better.
As you can see, we've already cut through half of them, so I'm going to take these squares and I'm going to line the bottom of these wine glasses. I'm going to start with one in each, and then I'm going to do 4 more to line around the outsides. So now that I've finished lining the bottom of the glasses, I have cut strawberries into quarters, and I'm going to take these strawberries and I'm going to fill up that little hole. It's like that, and let a few come over top of it as well. We'll spread them out and see how many I have left. While I do this,
I am going to make some whipped cream. Okay, so we've got a large bowl and about 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. Pour that in there. And then we'll take our hand mixer. It's going to be loud, so I apologize. And we're just going to whip it until you get soft peaks. Okay, so we've got our soft peaks. Now we're going to take 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, add that in. And I'm going to need my half teaspoon of vanilla. If I can talk, it'd be better. Just to mix that together. And then we're just going to finish this off into stiff peaks. So we're just going to keep on whipping.
keep on whipping.
Keep on.
Whip it good.
There we go. Got our lovely stiff peaks.
Looks like whipped cream to me.
Oh, it's going to be so good. I'm excited.
All right, Katie is going to transfer that to the pastry bag. And while she's doing that, I'm going to finish up the next step for the actual trifle. I have the strawberries all in there, and I'm going to take about a tablespoon of sherry for each and just pour it over top of the strawberries to let it get all in there and soak into that sponge cake.
It's almost like it'll soak it up.
Like a sponge. And you go through the strawberries so it'll pick up some of that strawberry flavor. Take that down into the sponge cake too. All right.
Okay, so we've got our
Whipped cream.
whipped cream.
And next,
And now we're going to take our pastry cream. That looks so lovely.
look at that, no film.
Look at that. That is beautiful.
What did I call it in the other episode? Skin? No
yeah.
skin.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. Yeah, look at that. That held its shape.
It smells so
beautifully.
good too. This is going to be the next layer in our glasses.
If you're gonna pipe something like this, you might want to twist the bottom of the bag too, so it doesn't just go straight through. Because that kind of defeats the purpose. This looks so good. I can't even. I'm so happy.
I love the vanilla bean
I'm
speckle.
so happy. When things like this come out well, it's just that much more exciting, if I'm being honest.
You ain't lying.
Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, because it would be very much not exciting if it came out like crap. So there's that. Okay.
So Katie is going to pipe in the pastry cream, and then I am going to add in the sauce that we made.
Oh yeah, the sauce. You'll see that
I just got
pastry.
it everywhere.
And then we'll top that off with some beautiful whipped cream.
Oh, that sauce is so good. Every episode I have to lick something off my finger.
Okay.
All right. You look
That
like
looks
you
great.
could use a little bit more. And you look like you could use a little bit more. You're just going to get that whole strawberry. You want to do this and I'll put the strawberry on top? And so I also crumbled up a piece of the sponge cake. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on top just for the extra pretty factor.
The what pretty factor?
The extra. Shut up. I'm extra. We know this.
There we go.
Tell me those crumbs don't look nice on there, though.
I didn't say they didn't. They look lovely. Personally, I just can't wait to eat it.
Right. And strawberry and strawberry. And there
Look at that.
we have our wine
It's
glass trifle.
so beautiful.
I love it.
It's adorable. Well done.
Thank you for joining us in the kitchen with Just Keep Rolling. Don't forget, you can find our podcast of the same name on your favorite podcasting platform.
And if you decide to make your own trifle, please take pictures of it and share it with us on social media. You can find us on Facebook at JKR Podcast and Twitter and Instagram at Just Keep Rolling.
You can help us create more content and get extra perks like Just Keep Rolling swag, patron-only Facebook groups and chats, bonus content, and more by joining us at patreon.com/justkeeprolling.
As always, any support you can give is greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. We hope you see us again. I'm Katie.
I'm Ellen.
And until the next time,
Just keep rolling. Thank you so much. No, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna say first.
You want to cut again?
No, just keep rolling.
Okay.
Oh,